Okay, it looks like we're at 11 o'clock, so we're going to go ahead and get started. I am Kurt Halverson with HomeTown Credit Union. I'm the Community Education Specialist. And joining me today is Rebecca Lippert from Edina Realty. And we are excited to talk to Becky today about a lot of the things that have to do with home buying, and especially home buying in the current climate. All right. So, Becky, tell us a little bit about why you decided to become a real estate agent.
Well, I think as I'm very similar with many people in this world that never knew what they wanted to do when they grew up. But I always knew I wanted to help people. And I had a lot of opportunities to help people in my life, but this was one of the biggest ways I could help people and make a difference. Um, Really, the purchase of a home is their biggest investment in their life. And really walking through that process is, it takes a lot of support and um, it's a huge change in people's life. And so it was just a perfect fit for me.
That's awesome. That's so wonderful. I love to hear that passion. So, tell us about during the current crisis, are real estate agents still working, and and what are they doing to help protect clients and and themselves?
Yeah. So as a real estate agent or the industry, we are deemed essential businesses because we are in housing. Because just because we're in a current pandemic doesn't mean people's lives aren't still changing and still housing needs are still there. Um, None of that stopped. But during our current situation, Edina agents are pretty super fortunate that we have Edina corporate backing us up and helping us every step of the way. In the beginning, it was no open houses and making sure that when you're with clients, making sure you're wiping things down, and that stuff hasn't stopped. We implemented like one-on-one meetings with clients like we're doing now on Zoom. And we also started a campaign for virtual open houses. So I would walk through a house and talk about each aspect of the room and keep continuing to go. And it took about 15, 20 minutes, which is a little different than a real live open house. But recently, they have given us the gift back to do open houses. So we really have to step up our game and make sure that we're keeping people safe during those times. So, for example, we limit the number of people in open houses, making sure we're wiping things down. People are very welcome to have gloves and masks on. Just making sure that people aren't touching and doing all the surfaces that they normally would, right?
Sure.
But
So,
mhm,
if they wanted something open, would they just ask you to open it to minimize contact, or?
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. And that kind of goes into our next question, I guess. But um, yeah, so we make sure that we're opening doors for people, turning lights on before people walk in the door. Um, and making sure that only a certain number of people are on different levels, things like that. And we're not handing paper out anymore, which is a bummer, but we definitely have the option to email right now, right? We
Right.
didn't have that 15 years ago, and so we make sure that we are still emailing the information on each home to each client.
hmm
Hmm.
It's interesting not having that physical piece of paper to hold. It's like that's your security blanket,
I
but
know.
in reality, it's wonderful to embrace the technology and
Hmm.
not use as much paper, and then you have to worry about the amount of trees that go into producing that paper and the waste and things like that. So
All right. It's kind of like having a newspaper in your hand, right?
yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Absolutely.
That's
Hmm.
great to hear about how everybody's been able to adapt so well.
Hmm. Yeah, so I'm just going to continue with we were just talking about home showing. So if a potential buyer wants to buy a house, let's say, and they're looking for houses and they see a house and they're like, oh, I really love this house. Well, definitely we are still setting up showings and we're still taking clients through. We're obviously practicing social distancing. We're not encouraging to bring your whole family though. We're really want to make sure we're only bringing the buyers in. Um, And that's sad, but that's just kind of the way we have to do things now. But we want to also make sure we're educating our clients with the guidelines in place, because every day things are changing. Every day things could change. So we want to make sure that we're keeping our clients educated. Um, we talked a little bit about low contact showings, making sure that people aren't touching surfaces. So what I do is we walk into the house, I have gloves on, I open the door, I turn the lights on for people, I, open every closet they need, and with their hands in their pockets. And it just minimizes the risk of them touching things. And then it also gives me an opportunity to know what I've touched, so I can make sure those things are wiped down before I leave the house. Does that make sense?
It sure does.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Hmm.
So, telling us a little bit about that leads me into thinking about like the challenges. What are some of the challenges in the current real estate market? I know that like last year, one of the big challenges was inventory. It seemed like the inventory was not quite as much as we'd like to see for the demand that was out there. What are you seeing now for challenges?
Well, I think the one big challenge for any industry right now in this pandemic is misinformation. People not knowing if people are working, people not knowing if stores are open, right? Um, and people don't realize that properties are still selling and buying. And when I talk to people, they're super surprised. And it's like, well, people are still moving, people are still living. So I encourage people always to always reach out and ask what is really going on, because I mean, I could assume all day, but we want to make sure we have the facts so that you are well educated to make decisions for yourself. One of the biggest differences that we're seeing right now is, so back in 2008, we obviously went through some rough times with the economy and recession and things. And when that happened, the real estate market, the difference is for today, excuse me, is the real estate market did not lead this economic downturn. It wasn't because of the real estate market. Obviously, it was because of something we couldn't control. And we went into this real estate market very strong, but we also still have very low inventory. So, with maybe the fear of not putting your house on the market during this time, or don't want people to walk through right away in the beginning of the pandemic, it definitely has made our inventory even lower. So it's still a seller's market. And another one of the big differences, when it first started, the investors that invest in home loans, they took necessary precautions to early on to make sure that they tightened up lending right from the start. And so once things started opening up again, the guidelines are starting to open up again. So these investors are now investing in riskier loans again. So we're seeing a lot more options being available for people now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of
Mhm.
course, loan rates right now are very, very low. And
Mhm.
so it's a great time to buy and to lock into that low interest rate, because chances are good that we're not going to see low rates like this again for a long time after the economy starts to rebound.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Hmm.
Very good. So tell us a little bit about advice you could give to people that are interested or need to be buying and selling homes. What would you share with them?
Well, for right now, for sellers, I know that everything looks different right now. And obviously, as I said before, our job is to inform you of all the safety precautions, doing virtual open houses, virtual tours, things like that. Knowledge is power, right? So the number one thing is connecting with me or an agent that can tell you what your market value of your house is right now, or anytime. That is what's going to make your decision on whether you're going to sell or not. But just know that we're here to help you, educate you. We're not here to just buy and sell houses. Our job is to educate people also. For buyers, getting a pre-approval is number one, right? Knowing what your buying power is. It gives you the confidence to put an offer on a house. We work with lots of lenders, local lenders that we trust to help you get to that closing table. And houses are selling very, very fast right now. So being prepared is super huge. So one of the things that I do to help my clients be prepared is I sit down with them and we talk through the process together. What does it look like to put an offer on a home? What are the steps during that process? So they're prepared and they're not like, oh my gosh, this is it's crazy, right? It is a big deal. It is a lot of steps, but that's what my job is to help get through every step of the way. But being prepared, sitting down, talking about the process before you get started looking gives you that buying power, gives you the confidence you need to get through every step and make great decisions for yourself.
Yeah, thank you. Your role is really to educate and advocate
Yes,
for the people that you're working with. And when it comes to a big purchase like a home, it can be very emotional. And you
absolutely.
are there as a voice of reason to help keep that emotion in check because sometimes people can get kind of swept up with that, right?
Right. And it's also my job to be like, okay, so this is the situation that we're having right now. These are the options that you have.
Hmm.
Um, so it's my job to make sure that you know those options so that you can make an informed decision.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, what if, let's say, you're working with somebody and they're not sure if they think they could qualify for a home loan? What would you recommend there?
First of all, I would recommend them obviously connecting with you, Kurt, because you have some wonderful classes that help you go through your budget, talk about what it means to budget for your home, what it means to have like an emergency fund or a side fund to make sure that you're saving a little bit of money all the time to make sure that you're keeping up with your house. And, maybe you need new windows someday or new siding. So it's really important to understand that. And connecting with a lender now, even if you don't think you're ready to connect with the lender, well, I might have this card to pay off, or I might have to do this first before I can connect with the lender. Don't let that stop you. What they can do, what a really great lender can do for you, is to look at your whole financial situation and tell you step by step what you need to do to increase your credit score and to get you to the point where you are reaching your goal of buying a home.
Mhm.
And also stay connected with me as a real estate agent because I'm here to support you through the way, all through that. Whether it's from step one or you're ready to jump in and put an offer on a house, it's my job to help you support and stay connected with your lender. If you have any questions through the process, I'm free to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
excellent, excellent advice. And my financial education services are free. I do offer, classroom versions, which right now are over Zoom, and free one-on-one coaching for individuals.
Mm.
And for mortgage services, Hometown Credit Union has lenders in Faribault, Northfield, and Owatonna that are all very experienced mortgage lenders that would be thrilled to help people out through the process of home buying. Let's see here. Okay, so tell me about what you think the number one thing that stops people from finding out if it's possible to buy a new home.
I think that no matter how much money you make in this world, I think fear is number one. Fear is what people are stopping them from even taking that step to even find out if they can purchase a home, or maybe they're just worried that there's not enough equity in their house, things like that. um, Fear to look at their credit, and maybe the process seems overwhelming to them. Well, I'll be honest, you're not alone. Everybody out there that is looking to buy and sell a house have fear. It is fearful, but what I want to tell you today is it's okay to be fearful. But what we do is to help you through your fears. And we help you and support you so that you understand every step of the way or get you connected with resources that you may need to get you closer to your goals. And you're not alone. I just want to make sure people understand you're not alone in it, and we're here to help. And anything's possible. So just hang on to that.
Hmm.
Um, One of my specialties is definitely teaming up with people to get them through the process, to talk to them about the process, even before we even start looking at houses. And that's super important to start doing right away. Yeah.
Yeah, it's important to know that professionals like yourself, they've help people through lots of different situations. They've kind of seen it all, so to say. And so they are not going to judge you where you're coming from. They're there to help and be an advocate for you to help you out through every step of the way. So thank you so much for
Absolutely.
sharing that.
Yeah, we all have personal experiences that we learn and live from too. And so definitely no judgment here. We just want to help.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything else that you'd like to add today?
I just want to say I just hope everyone's doing well. Enjoy the sunshine. Please reach out to me if you have any questions at all, and I'd love to help you. Love to connect.
Wonderful. Let's open it up for questions. Do we have any questions today? Let's see. Becky, what is your favorite color?
Blue.
Blue. Okay. Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Don't
Okay.
have any, no questions from me.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us today, Jen. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for the info.
This is going to be a session that will be available through Hometown Credit Union's website and YouTube channel. So feel free to share it with any friends or family members that might be looking for a home purchase or to sell in the near future. And we have a lot of other great videos of previous lunch and learns and other educational sessions on there as well. Okay. Well, if there's nothing else, we're going to say have a happy rest of your Friday, and we'll see you all again very soon. Next Friday, I'm going to have a lunch and learn where I'm going to talk about frauds and scams in the time of this pandemic for crooks that are trying to target people that might be affected by COVID or things like that. So feel free to join us for that one as well. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great afternoon, and we'll see y'all again soon.
Thank you.
Bye.